Hey everybody, what is up? Welcome back to Final Trade. I was having a discussion with a patron, and he was asking me basically, who the heck are these people on TCG Player dumping Spider-Man boxes in the 460s? And it made me think about this idea of how we have different incentives in a market. And there's this dumb saying about how, there's many reasons to buy an asset, there's only one reason to sell it. And I think that's completely wrong. There are a lot of different reasons to sell an asset. You may have a lot of different reasons that you need to raise cash, or a lot of different reasons that you no longer believe in the asset's long term ability to continue appreciating at a sufficient rate for your risk tolerance, and on and on and on. And so when you look out there on TCG Player and you see this sell book that's full of Spider-Man collector boxes in the 460s and 470s and 480s, many, many, many of these boxes, you have to understand that there are a lot of sellers who must move these boxes. The majority of card stores are undercapitalized. They're operating on 30 or 60 or 90-day terms with their distributors, which basically means that they order product, they can get a certain amount of it, and they don't have to pay for it for 30 or 60 or 90 days. And so it's a way of financing inventory in the retail ecosystem so that stores of any type, not just card stores, but stores of any type can afford to get a hold of the products that they need to sell. And oftentimes distributors will give those terms out because they know that a lot of stores, whether it's card stores or other industries, can't always afford 30 or 60 or $100,000 of this product. And especially when we talk about TCG products and the number of booster boxes and especially collector boxes when it comes to Magic, it can get very, very expensive for a store to get the amount of product they need for a release. But if they can get terms from a distributor, then they can get a hold of the product, sell it, and then pay for the product. Now, that puts them in a pinch when the product is crashing, when the products are unpopular, like the Spider Man collector boxes, because they have to all race for the exits to try to capture enough sales in order to raise the cash they need to go pay those terms off. Because if they don't get the payments together, they can face consequences up to and including losing their distributor accounts. And so the incentives are a lot different. When you talk to people like me and most of us here at Final Trade, most of the people watching these videos, we're not buying these products on credit. And if we are, it's just a very short term credit card that we pay off every month, and we do it just to get all of the cash back and the other incentives from it. But we are under no pressure to sell. And so if you're not looking at that from the correct perspective, you can really make you wonder who the heck thinks these boxes are so terrible in the 460s that you should be dumping them. And it's wild because you can look out on the actual completed sales pop-up window on TCG Player, and you can see from time to time some seller will come into the market, and sometimes they will be a new seller with no feedback, and so they need to offer a lower price in order to entice people to buy from them. But sometimes it's not. And you'll see people come in and price a couple of boxes 20 or $30 cheaper than the current going rate, and just to move the boxes faster to be done with it and to affirmatively secure the cash. And so keep in mind that you can have a lot of different reasons that you might want to sell something. And everyone else in the market who's merely listing items on the sell side of the order book, they can have a whole lot of different reasons for wanting to sell stuff also. Like I made a video about recently, markets are a data compression algorithm. And another one of those ways that they compress data is that when you look at the order book, all you get is a quantity and a price. You don't get a complete explanation of the reasoning that went into a seller offering that quantity at that price. Those data have been lost by the time you just look at the sell side of the order book. So remember that, guys, that the big problem with that most card stores have on an ongoing basis, why they typically struggle, is they are undercapitalized. They've got to make the sales in order to pay off their creditors, which are usually their distributors. And so it puts them in a much, much more tricky position when it comes to acquiring the product and then quickly needing to sell into that release day hysteria and the very close after release day hysteria before the TCG expansion life cycle makes everybody move on and lose interest and the sales crash. So keep it all in mind, guys. Thanks to everyone who makes this content possible, especially my very generous supporters on Patreon. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and join me on Vinyl Trade. Buy a hat.